I watched her pull into the driveway like nothing had changed. Hair freshly curled. Luggage wheeled behind her. Smiling. And then she kissed me. But the phone in my pocket? It was still recording. Because I already knew. And what happened that night, when I finally showed her the proof, changed both our lives forever. What she said, what she did. That's why only Revenge Exposed Now could tell you this story. We'd been married 9 years. 9 years of birthdays, bills, morning coffees, quiet drives, little arguments, big forgiveness. You know, the stuff that makes a life. Her name's Hannah. She's the kind of woman people noticed in a room, not because she was loud or flashy, but because she made you feel like you mattered. She listened with her whole face. That's what drew me in when we first met at a mutual friend's wedding. That warm, kind energy. Back then I thought I hit the jackpot. I worked in IT remote most days. She worked in marketing. Her agency had just landed a big pharma client, and that's when the traveling started. She never traveled before. Never even had a passport. But now? Babe, she said weeks before it all blew up. It's a huge opportunity. If this goes well, I could make partner by end of year. I wanted to be proud of her. I was proud of her. But something about how she said partner made me feel like I was watching her drift away. Just a little. 1 foot out the door. Not from our marriage. Just somewhere else. Like we were turning into roommates who kissed sometimes. I chalked it up to stress. We were both working late. Trying to save for a house. Life, right? And then came the trip. Chicago. 4 nights. Big client meeting. Her boss, Martin. Now, I'd never met Martin in person, just heard his name in passing. Apparently, he was married, older, brilliant, intense, and the kind of guy who gets things done. She said all this with the kind of respect that borders on admiration. The kind you maybe shouldn't have for someone you text after work hours. Still, I trusted her. Right up until the morning she left. She was wearing this beige blazer, the one she usually saved for client meetings, and as she walked down the hall toward the front door, she did something strange. She looked back at me. Not in a love you kind of way. In a pause too long, eyes-searching kind of way. Like she was checking something. Like she was measuring the moment. Text me when you land, I said. Of course I will. Love you. She kissed me on the cheek, not the lips. She always kissed me on the lips. Then she was gone. That entire day I couldn't focus. Something was off. I told myself it was just insecurity. That I was being possessive. But I couldn't shake it. Not this time. So that night, while scrolling Instagram in bed, I tapped on her stories. Nothing. Then I tapped on his. And I swear to God, my stomach turned ice. Martin, her boss, had posted a boomerang. It was from the hotel lobby bar. Low light, fancy cocktails. In the reflection behind the bar mirror, I saw the curve of her shoulder.
Her beige blazer.
They were already drinking, and she hadn't even texted that she landed. I screenshotted the story, heart pounding. Not because it proved anything yet, but because my gut didn't feel crazy anymore. I zoomed in, stared at that reflection until my eyes burned. Then I did something I never thought I would do. I bought an app. One of those spyware things. You know the kind. You install it remotely. It mirrors texts, locations, browser history. Even voice recordings if the mic is triggered. It's disgusting. It's desperate. But I was already drowning. She'd left her old iPad linked to her iCloud account. That's where I installed it. Within an hour, the first ping came in. Here's what she said. And I'll never forget it. I know it's wrong. I do. But when I'm with him, I feel noticed. Like seen. And it's just this trip. I need to know if I'm still me, you know? Still me. Like she'd forgotten who she was. Like I was part of that forgetfulness. I sat there in our bed with her empty pillow beside me, listening to the woman I loved admit she was crossing a line. That's when the nausea hit. That's when the shaking started. But I didn't call her. I waited. I needed more. On the second night, around 11:42 p.m., her location jumped from the hotel to a place 3 blocks down. Private residence, Google said. I screenshotted it. 10 minutes later, another audio. This time it wasn't her voice. It was his. Low. Smug. If you're gonna feel guilty, at least wait until morning. Her laugh followed. Small. Nervous. My ears rang. I paced the living room until 2 a.m. And that night, I made a folder on my desktop. Chicago proof. I saved everything in there. The recordings, screenshots, transcripts. Not for revenge. Not yet. At that point, I just needed the truth to have weight. Something I could hold. She came back Thursday afternoon. Same luggage. Same coat. Same smile. "Babe," she said as I opened the door. "I missed you." She hugged me hard. Her hair smelled like his cologne. I let her hold me. And while she unpacked in the bedroom, I pulled out a small recording device from my drawer, the one I used for work interviews. I placed it in the living room lamp angled just right. Then I waited. We ordered Thai. She told me boring stories about client meetings and traffic delays. I played dumb. And at 10:13 p.m., I asked her one question. "So, did anything interesting happen in Chicago?" She paused. Just for a second. But enough. The lie came out easy. Practiced. And I just sat there nodding. Inside I was on fire. The next day I compiled everything. And I sent it. Not to her. To Martin's wife. 3 days later, Hannah was jobless. Martin was under internal investigation. And I filed for divorce. She cried. She begged. She stood on our porch in the rain. But I never opened that door. Because some betrayals deserve silence, not closure. And this was mine. So when people ask, "How did you know?" I tell them the truth. She kissed me like nothing had changed. But I already had proof. And sometimes, that's all it takes to burn down a lie. This is why only Karma Revenge brings you stories no one else will touch. Subscribe. Because silence has a story too.